Hey everybody, this is Jay, also known as J4, and in this small tutorial we're gonna see how to contribute to the local of Resonite, so basically the translations. This is mainly aimed at people that speak a different language than English and that want to, spread a bit the language, make it so Resonite is more accessible to people of your country or region as well. However, this also applies to you if you notice that there are some mistakes in some of the strings in Resonite and that you want to correct. So I am here with my small YDMSJ sub account that we created in the first tutorial. If you do not have the GitHub account, I can recommend checking that out as well. But I'm gonna assume that you followed my previous tutorials on how to create a GitHub account, so basically the GitHub basics, and how to report bugs, give feedback about Resonite, and etc. So right now we are on the local repository in the Yellow Dogman group or organization subterms. And as you can see, we support a bunch of language, Czech, German, English, and etc. There is a small section that I can recommend reading on how to contribute to the local. If your language is not supported yet, we'll need to click on this small button, create new issue. Middle mouse click to open it in new tab. Of course, it doesn't link where I want it to, so let's head to issues. Let's create a new issue. And for this one, you want to select blank issue on, for instance, new language. I don't know. I think we support Indonesian, but for instance, just add a small bit of information about the language you want to add. I do not speak Indonesian. Again, that's just an example. Yeah, just add a small bit about your language. There is also things for the pluralizer. There you go. Language length code, for instance, ID for Indonesian. The example given is English with EN. Yeah, that helps people that might speak this language to coordinate with you as well. Check the existing issues for new languages as well to see if somebody already did that before. Yeah. You also need to verify the pluralizer. The pluralizer is really simple to understand. It's basically when there are multiples of something, some language add an S, for instance, in French, my native language, as you can hear from my accent. Yeah, now to contribute, it's really simple. We're gonna need to create a fork of the repo. Fork of a repository is basically your own copy of it in which you can work. Obviously, if we go on any file right there, for instance, if I want to contribute to French local, you can't edit this file. You need to fork the repo because this is our copy of it. Fork the repo, it's very simple. You can see the small fork button on top of here. Hit it once. As we can see, it is already filled. Everything seems all right. It's available. If this is not available, that means you have a repository already called local or you already forked it. So, but if you're just getting started like we are, just click create fork. It's just gonna take a minute to do that. There we go. You now have your own copy of the Resonite local. So if you want to contribute to an existing language by filling out the missing pieces, you can just open this missing folder in the repository. And for instance, let's take French. We can see that all those strings are missing the local. So what I can recommend is opening the English local. For instance, we're gonna copy that one and do .add list element. We can just hit Ctrl F to search, and we can see that this string is add element to list. So now we can just go to our French local file, click the small edit this file button on top of it there, and there you go. You now have an editor. You can generally recommend going in the same area of the text file where the string is. For instance, is undo.batch convert materials. So for instance, undo batch convert materials right there. And now we can just add lines. So add list element. Don't forget the commas, otherwise your contribution will not pass the automated verification. And let's see. Add elements to list. Could be ajouter les éléments dans la. And once you've made a few contributions, for instance, I'm only adding one for the sake of this tutorial, but once you've done your contribution, added all the local you want, you can just again click commit changes, add a small thing, for instance, translate add list element, and commit changes. There we go. You can see we made a commit right there. We click on it, we can see the small change log where we can see what was added. Now, if we click on the code tab, this will return us to the main page. And you can see that it also says that it's forked from the local repo. So we can just go back there, go head to the pull request tab. And that is, pull requests are basically how you merge your contributions back to the main local repo. To do that, it's really simple. Just open a new pull request with the button on the top right. And we just have to. I don't think I am on the right repo for that. Give me 1 second. Oh, it's simpler, in fact, now. Just go on your fork, click the contribute button, and click the big open pull request button. There, it will show the list of changes on the bottom of what you just did. So you can add a title, for instance, translated strings for French. Just add a small description like translated to add list element, given that's everything we did right now. And once this is done, you can create the pull request. And this will, once we get a new version going, usually it's Fructious that goes through those and just merges all the contribution. Show you what it looks like when it's open. Let's go, for instance, for the Chinese local. This one has no description, but you can see there are a bunch of changes. We can, all the checks have passed. If we look at the files changed, there we go. With our undo at list element right there. This also seems to tweak some translations as well. There are some variables like this, for instance, context menu inputs, but you'll see those are usually reflected in the English local file. Go. There is also an automated check every time you open one of those pull requests there. That will basically check if the local is valid against the English one. Basically, if you add a translation key, translation string that doesn't exist, this will basically scream at you to correct that. Last thing is the pluralizer. I'm gonna go to the French one and see if I can't find one. But that one is also, there you go. The pluralizer works like so. For instance, if there is only one user, for the user string, there's utilisateur, which is one user specifically. Otherwise, it says utilisateur, like with an S, which is multiple users, of course. Depending on the language, this might be useful or not, but this is something you have access to for some of those strings. For instance, this is the indicator that says how many users are online. You do not like editing the files directly on your on the web interface like that. There's also another way. This is mainly for Windows users. For instance, we can go to GitHub Desktop. You just have to look up the GitHub Desktop in your favorite search engine, and you can just download this software that just allows you to connect to your GitHub account. Can we have some screenshots, please? What? There you go. It looks like this. While you just connect to your GitHub account, it will allow you to clone repository and have all the files locally. And I can recommend using something like Visual Studio Code, for instance, to edit those files. There we go. All of this is, of course, free, completely free. And sometimes the workflow with that is a bit more, a bit better because you can have a view open of the English local, for instance, on the left, and the your language local on the right. So yeah, that's so you can contribute to the translations really easily. As always, if you have any more questions, please do ask them on the Discord, and I will be very, very happy to answer. Otherwise, don't miss the rest of the tutorials. Next one will be about the wiki, how to create a wiki account, how to contribute, how to use the wiki in general.